Yes, that'd be great. Thank you.
Ma'am, should I read?
Yes, would you please, Shivansh?
Some of the plant and wildlife of New Zealand's are similar to those I see at home in the northwest corner of the United States of America, while others are quite
Quite.
different. Quite different. We have very tall trees in the forest near where I live, in with wild trunks, trunks and branches that spread far out from the trunks. They may be the same height. They may be the same height as the tree we walked through in this New Zealand forest, but the narrow trunks on these trees made them seem so much taller.
Very nice reading. Thank you. Can you see me in the picture on the left? At the very bottom.
Yes. Here.
How big the trees are.
Yeah.
That's how tall those trees are.
So big.
Okay, I think I'm going to do what I did yesterday, which is I'm going to now read, now that it's been read, I'm going to read over this same thing. And so you can follow along and listen to the pronunciation that we would have here in America.
Yes.
Some of the plants and wildlife of New Zealand, even though it looks like Zealand, I think we're lazy and we say Zealand, almost if it's L-U-N-D. So we say New Zealand, are similar to those I see at home in the northwest corner of the United States of America, while others are quite different. Quite is a word that means very.
Yeah.
I could have said very different.
Mm-hmm.
We have very tall trees in the forests near where I live, with wide trunks and branches that spread far out from the trunks. They may be the same height as the trees we walk through in this New Zealand forest, but the narrow trunks on these trees made them seem so much taller. I just love that picture because it really shows how tall they are. Because I'm 5 feet 4 inches tall, so I don't know how tall those are.
These are maybe more than 200 feet or something.
Oh my goodness.
So much it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you can go to the next slide. Who else here today? Maitri, would you like to read this one, please?
Yes. The Himalayan honeysuckle from the UN Forest Trail is the same plant that I have at my house. As its common name suggests, the plant is native to the area around the Himalayan mountain range, including India. Although it is prized as a garden plant in my area, the tree is considered an invasive species in Australia, New Zealand, and some neighboring islands. The plant is resistant to air pollution and deer not to eat it. The shrub is often used in the traditional medicine of people its native region. The hollow stems of the plant have been used in India to make whistles and flutes. In some states in Assam, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and Sikkim, the plant is used as firewood and as manure.
Great, thank you. That was great reading. Okay, my turn. I love this plant. It's so pretty. It's a big bush and it has these kind of reddish purple flowers that hang down. This Himalayan honeysuckle is from the New Zealand Forest Trail. No, I need to start over. This Himalayan honeysuckle from the New Zealand Forest Trail is the same plant that I have at my house. As its common name suggests, the plant is native to the area around the Himalayan mountain range, including India. Although it is prized as a garden plant in my area, the shrub is considered an invasive species in Australia, New Zealand, and in some neighboring islands. Do you know the word invasive? Invasive means it gets out of control and we really don't like it. I don't know why it's invasive in those areas. Maybe it's just the perfect growing conditions for it to just multiply. The plant is resistant to air pollution and deer do not eat it. That part is very important where I live because we have deer everywhere, walking through my yard, when I walk the dog, the deer are in the neighbor's yard. They eat a lot of my plants. So this is one that they don't eat. The shrub is often used in the traditional medicine of the people in its native region. The hollow stems of the plant have been used in India to make whistles and flutes. In some states in northern India, I'm not going to pronounce them because I won't do it right. The plant is used as firewood and as manure. I tried sounding some of them out, but it would not sound pretty. What does it mean by Union Territory after Kashmir? See where it says Kashmir Union Territory? That was off the internet and I didn't know what that meant.
Yes, anybody want to answer?
Sir, about what, sir?
Answer.
Union territory. Ma'am is asking what is the meaning of union territory. Like we have different states, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a type of administrative division. I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, when after the independence and after the division of India and Pakistan, some part of the countries were not ready to join, like Hyderabad or some other part like Kashmir. So
Okay.
they wanted their own area, own area to be governed by their own people. They were not ready to merge into Indian territory.
Okay.
Later on, after some years, they have joined it. So they were known as like this Union territory.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but there are still some union territories
Yeah.
in India.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, next slide. Manav?
Ma'am, should I read?
I think it's Manav's turn right now. Are you there, Manav?
Yes.
Okay, you can read this one, please.
The lake on the left is Blue Lakes and the one on the right is Green Lake. They are never
Near.
the city
Near the city.
near the city of Rotorua.
Just
Rotorua.
about, do it, try it one more time, you'll get it.
Rotorua, which
Good.
is known for its geothermal activity and marble
Geothermal.
students near
Good.
what's up?
Geothermal.
Geothermal activity and
Maori.
Maori soldier
Maori.
nearby
Maori culture.
Maori culture. There are bubbling mud pools and activity. Sorry.
30.
Can you, Manav, would you start on
And,
nearby?
what, ma'am?
Would you please start on the word nearby? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 6th line, start
Yeah.
on nearby.
Yeah.
Okay. Nearby there are bubbling mud pools and 30 meter tall desert that erupts many times daily.
Erupts.
Rotio erupts many times daily. Rotio is also home to the New Zealand Morio Arts and Crafts Institute, where translation wood
Traditional.
traditional wood carving, stones and bone carving and
Carving.
carving carving and living are through.
Taught.
Good. Manav, I appreciate you sounding those words out. That city, of course, is not a city that you or I are used to saying because it's in a different country. So you did a great job sounding it out. It's Rotorua. Rotorua. This one, at least that's how I was saying it. It might not be quite the right pronunciation if I lived in New Zealand. Okay, the lake on the left is Blue Lake, and the one on the right is Green Lake. They are near the city of Rotorua, which is known for its geothermal activity and Maori culture. On the next couple slides, we're going to talk about geothermal activity.
Ma'am, what do you mean by bubbling mud pools?
Bubbling mud pools?
Yeah.
It would be, you know what mud is?
Yes.
So in the ground, there'll be a pool or a lake, and it's filled with mud. Instead of water, it's mud. And up from the ground comes air bubbles, and they cause the mud to bubble.
Actually, should I show her the picture? She was not yesterday present. Should I show the picture?
Sure.
This one.
Well, that's an example, yes. Where
So, or okay, I guess it's because of geothermal thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
it's because, well, some of actually the new slideshow I think that will start later has it.
Yeah.
This area has a lot of steam and water coming up from underneath the ground, geothermal. Thermal meaning hot, or the temperature, and geo meaning of the earth. So we'll go into that. And the Maori culture. Nearby are the bubbling mud pools and a 30-meter tall geyser that erupts many times daily. A geyser is where the earth shoots water and steam out. We have a place in America that we call Old Faithful, and it's a geyser, and several times an hour it shoots water and steam way high in the air because of all this pressure pushing it out of the ground. So there's many geysers here on New Zealand. Rotorua is also home to the New Zealand Maori Arts and Crafts Institute, where traditional wood carving, stone and bone carving, and weaving are taught. Okay, next slide. Siobhan, it's your turn now.
Okay, ma'am. Major pronounced wow like mouth re.
Siobhan, can I stop you, please? Let me go over that one because this is a difficult word. The word is Maori. That's the people that originally lived on New Zealand, the islands of New Zealand. And I wrote it out. It's pronounced Mau like mouth. So the sound you make when you say mouth. So it's, and then
Maori.
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 Maori pronounced wow like mouth re are the igneous Riosis people of New Zealand. Maori
Yes.
organized with shelter from
Settlers.
Eastern Florence who arrived in New Zealand in service ways of corn.
Several.
What, sir?
Several.
Where
New Zealand in several.
New Zealand in several ways of canoe, grace,
Voyage.
Voyages.
voyages between about 1,000 years ago, although the shelter found the traditional form of their homeland. Server
Several.
centers of peace solution on their island, New Zealand caused them to develop their now distinct culture, whose language, craft, and performing art involved to be different from those of other Eastern influence culture. Almost 90% of Maori people live in New Zealand, North Island. We visited two Maori culture centers during our of visit to the North Island.
Great, thank you. Okay, let me read it now, and so you can look at the words and listen to my pronunciation. Maori, pronounced Mao like mouth, Maori, are the indigenous Polynesian people of New Zealand. Indigenous means the same as native, so they were the first known people to live in that area on those islands. Maori originated, meaning they came from, they originated with settlers from East Polynesia. That's an area of the South Pacific that has a lot of island nations. Who arrived in New Zealand in several waves of canoe voyages about 1,000 years ago. Although the settlers brought traditions from their homelands, several centuries of isolation on their new home islands of New Zealand caused them to develop their own distinctive culture, whose language, crafts, and performing arts evolved to be different from those of other Eastern Polynesian cultures. About 90% of Maori people live on New Zealand's North Island. We visited two Maori cultural centers during our visit to the North Island. And the picture on the left is some artwork that is over the entrance gate to one of the cultural centers.
I think it is carved in the wood, right, ma'am? It is made of wood? Yeah.
Yep. Carved in the wood.
Yeah.
And all those symbols mean something to the Maori people. It's not just purely decorative, they all have some meaning. Like the two people that are embracing, maybe that means that it's two, see their faces look different?
Yeah.
Maybe it means there's two different tribes that came together, or maybe it means that the one on the left is younger, and then the one on the right with the green is older and has different kind of paint on his face. I don't know, but they definitely mean something to the Maori people. Okay, next slide.
Oh, it's a place of their living.
Yes,
Right.
that little tiny place. Matri, can you read this one and then also the next slide since this one's so short?
Yes, ma'am. In this picture, I'm standing in front of a replica of a traditional Maori house. The house is so tiny. The part of the reason I was smiling in this picture was that I was holding my favorite drink, coffee.
Yes. So the word replica means a copy of. So that is not a real one that's left from thousands of years ago. That's a copy they made. In this picture, I'm standing in front of a replica of a traditional Maori house. The house is so tiny. Part of the reason I was smiling in this picture was that I was holding my favorite drink, coffee, which of course I have. Okay, next slide.
The New Zealand Maori Arts and Craft Institute is an indigenous traditional art school located in Rotorua, New Zealand. It operates the national schools of three major Maori art forms: wood carving, stone and bone carving, and weaving. This national art school opened in 1963. Previous to that time, there was only a national school for wood, wood carving in Rotorua.
Ma'am got disconnected or what? Yes.
Yes, so she's not in the meeting.
Yeah, she's not in the meeting. Okay, we'll wait for her. So how you people are feeling now, this new practice? First, we are asking the child to read, and wherever the wrong pronunciation is there, then ma'am is reading and showing the actual American pronunciation. I think this will give a very nice information about how to pronounce a word, the American accent, and so many things.
Sir, so that's why I'm telling sir that
Hmm.
Friday ka sir.
It's not possible, beta. Now we are being recorded.
It's better than the previous thing we did because then we get to see how to pronounce the certain words
Yeah.
we can't. It's better.
Hmm. I'll stop just a minute. Yeah, she can. Yes, ma'am. You are not audible properly.
She's lagging.
Oh, you got disconnected again, I think.
Sir, I think
Yeah.
network issue.
Yes.
Let me start the video.
Yeah.
So I'm holding you on my phone, so it might be a little jerky since my computer wasn't working. So are we ready to go on? I'm sorry, I didn't hear all that. Do you want me to read it again?
No, it's okay, ma'am.
You're ready to go to the next one?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Ma'am, should I read?
Yes, please.
The wood carving schools is officially ordered to train
Maori.
Maori from tribes across New Zealand
Tribes.
and
Tribes.
tribes across New Zealand and only accepts male applications over 18 years of age and
Applicants.
of Mary descends a
Maori,
maximum of what, sir?
Maori descent.
Ma'am, it's Maori or Mary?
Maori.
Maori. Maori.
Mary. A maximum of 5 students are selected each year. The school term is for 3 years and is 40 years,
Hours.
40 hours per week, 74 weeks of a year. During this time, the school craves study
Carvers. Carvers.
study
Carvers.
carvers
You got it.
study and carve on site. Although New
Throughout.
Zealand, although
Throughout.
what are allowed
Throughout.
New or allowed
Go ahead.
New Zealand and oversee the program's outcome is to fulfill the official order to preserve, protect the promote Mary culture, art, and it explores students to environment keep with them help them see first and how knowledge, history, and ideas create a people culture. The picture of the left shows the wood working class.
Great. Good reading. Thank you. You can tell we were up on top. They had an upstairs walkway so we could look down at the students working. The wood carving school is officially ordered to train Maori from tribes across New Zealand and only accepts male applicants over 18 years of age and of Maori descent. A maximum of 5 students are selected each year. The school term is for 3 years and is 40 hours per week, 47 weeks of the year. During this time, the school's carvers study and carve on site throughout New Zealand and overseas. The program's outcome is twofold. It fulfills the official order to preserve, protect, and promote Maori cultural arts, and it exposes students to environments which help them see firsthand how knowledge, history, and ideas create a people's culture. The picture on the left shows the woodworking classroom. So this school was set up and the government of New Zealand said, we want this to happen. We charge you or we order you to educate students so that the Maori arts will never die. So even though most people that live on New Zealand are not Maori people, the government sees the importance of that history and the culture. So they set up this school and said, you must train our young Maori people to maintain the historical cultural arts of their people.
And why male applicants are
I'm sorry?
only male applicants are allowed?
Applicants? I'm sorry, you're kind of cutting out. Applicants is
male
the meaning-
applicants are
Male applicants.
male applicants, so male meaning boys or men?
Men.
So this is kind of different. In America, it's mostly against the law, I think, if you only have things for men or for women. Usually they have to be open to anybody. And there's probably some exceptions to that, but usually we see that everybody gets to do everything. So this is really interesting that they only accept men, male applicants, men who are applying to get into the school, because there is a process, of course, and they only take 5 students every year. So there might be hundreds of young men who want to get into the school, but they only take 5. And they have 2 teachers. And I'm guessing, assuming that the reason they only take males into this school is because throughout the Maori history, the men were the ones that did the carving. So to allow women to learn to carve wouldn't be historically correct for them. That's my guess. In India, is it common for men and women to all be allowed to try everything they want to try?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, same as America. So this is a little different, but again, I believe it's just because in their history, the women did not carve. That was a man's job. So that's how they're keeping it for the training school. Okay, next slide. Manav, would you read this, please?
Ma'am, Manav is not there, ma'am. Sarthak came.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because I'm on my phone, I can't see who all is on. So,
Sarthak is there.
okay. Sarthak, could you read this one, please?
Sarthak, are you there? Yeah. But he has joined without audio. Sarthak, can you hear us? Yes.
He
Okay.
probably can't.
Why you haven't joined with audio? He joined without audio there.
Matri, would you read this so we can just keep moving along? And hopefully he'll join us for the next one.
Yeah.
Yes. These laws are ready for carving. The carver mentally prepares his mind to tell a story in the manner he thinks is best to connect with his culture, family, history, and language.
So I thought this was interesting because I would usually think that an artist would look at a log and say, that would probably make a good something. Whereas that's not the way here, because the Maori people, some of the things like this, they look inward to their minds, and their minds tell them what they should carve out of it. Or, in some schools, the teacher will say, today we're going to carve a spoon or a wagon. But that's not the way it is here. The carver gets to decide after some introspective thoughts, meaning he's looking inward, what he should carve out of those big logs. Okay, next slide.
Wow.
Do we have anyone else back, or is Maitri reading this one also?
Sarthak's back and he's joined with audio, I guess.
Okay. Sarthak, would you start reading this one, please?
Okay, he left again. Should I read it?
Yes, please.
She's there. Maitri is there. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. Wood carving has played an important and respected role in the Maori culture since before the first people arrived in New Zealand aboard their fleet of ocean-going canoes. Maori wood carving focuses on using native timbers, particularly wood from the giants of the forests, the kauri and totara. Carving tells a story and records a piece of history. Maori carvings use common symbols and patterns throughout, though styles differ between tribes. Traditionally, patterns used in carving were often inspired by the natural environment, including spider webs, fish scales, and the unfurling fronds of the fern.